Afternoon, and I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one, welcome all to City Skylines 2 welcome to Dead Man Streaming City Skylines 2. So I haven't been on for a few days, and I apologize. I've been super busy, and I also seem to have picked up a sinus infection, because that's a thing I do this time of year. So here's what's going on. When I saved last time, it for whatever reason didn't actually save the game. Um, I'm not sure what the heck happened, but that's life some days. So we're gonna have to redo a couple of things. Thankfully, it's nothing major. Just probably looks like a little bit of zoning, and the tram station that I put down didn't tram, which actually is gonna be okay because I don't like building tram stations. They are difficult to work with for me. They tend to draw excess traffic, and tram lines don't work through roundabouts. For some reason, that is completely lost on me. Um, and you do have to forgive me. I'm going to have to be drinking through this um, water specifically. Let me clarify that just to keep my voice. Um, And if you look, it's sort of like I went overboard with roundabouts. And in some of these spots, I really don't want to undo that. And of all the things in the game, tram systems are very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're, every mass transit system is a closed loop system. But in this game, trams are semi unique in that, like buses, they are restricted to roadways. Now, you can make your own tram only lanes, but it kind of creates a little bit of a mess when you need to have pedestrians and the like actually being able to get to them if you want to have them be any real use. And what this means is that I'm actually not 100% sure how we're going to be able to take a tram line and run it down unless we get rid of a couple of these roundabout systems. And we may just actually have to do that just for the sake of running the extra mass transit through. And the other downside is it's not going to be able to go up through here into our main city center where I really want them to. Um, we're going to do the best we can with it though, because I do want to show you guys how they work. We're going to have to probably lay down some extra good grid work as we go just to sort of cycle our way up and through, and we might delete some roundabouts in places like here. I'm very hesitant to delete it here, maybe here. We'll see what we got. The other problem that we have is that with the last patch that I do dearly love because it gave us these gorgeous new Eastern European high density buildings, is it also gave us a death issue. Yep, that's right. We're killing everybody, or at least the game thinks that we are. There's some weird bug that is drastically increasing the death rate for certain buildings when they first get popped up. Now, we have built a ton of crematoriums, and I thought it looked weird when it first happened, and I was right. I just didn't understand how weird it was and the fact that it was impacting multiple people and causing a headache all the way around. And then, of course, we still have our traffic issues. We do have a lot of people moving in, and they're hitting things like this and going, wow, this is not helpful. Um, so, where do we begin fixing things? Well, if I do want to go ahead and install the tram lines, we're going to have to install a tram depot. Tram depots are not the worst building that you have to make. They are fairly simple. They don't have the biggest footprint, of course, like other depot style buildings. They do generate some noise pollution at a medium rate and level, and that, of course, means we got to keep it away from everybody. So let's let's take a look. A decent place that I like to stick buildings that I know are going to be noisy or problematic or something like that is up near industrial style buildings, just for the sake of, hey, listen, if you've got, a manufacturing plant, the they have no right whatsoever to complain about the noise. Just none. And it's just sort of there's already going to be noise pollution there. You may as well just add to it, is where I'm at with it myself. Of course, that doesn't stretch all the way. Let's make a quick tweak. One of the other things I'm going to be doing while we do this is not going to take up a ton of money. That was the most expensive part of this particular installation. So what I'm going to focus on is doing this while we build up money, because there's a couple of expensive things that I really want to add to our city as we progress. And do forgive me if I start coughing. If it gets bad, I'm going to hop off of here. But I wanted to at least try to do something today. And I apologize for sounding a little bit under the weather. It's spring in the Mid-Ohio Valley. I don't care what the weather forecast says. It's spring. We'll run a small pedestrian street right up there. That's not going to matter. Well, actually, not pedestrian. Let's... we can't do one-way angled. We can upgrade that to a perpendicular parking lot right there. That'll limit. So you may see me fussing around with stuff that I wouldn't normally necessarily, be wasting time fussing around with. Like bothering with extending this road network, well, not road network, but extending this pathway right here against the road network. Why are you going? Yeah, just do that. Just for looks. Okay. All right. So here's our tram station. We're going to go ahead and give it a garage extension for more trams because it's going to need it. That's only about $42,000, and at this point, we're earning what? 135K an hour. Why are we earning that much money? Well, just a reminder, last episode, we invested heavily, let me rephrase that, we invested time into building up over here the start of our downtown residential office and commercial districts. But yeah, this death bug is getting kind of wonky, and it's very inconvenient. And I'm going to be saving a little bit more often than usual just because I don't want it to undo all the things that we did, and we did a lot of things. Okay, resuming. And you'll also notice we did jump up by more than 20,000 people last episode. All right, so here's how trams work. The tram lines are, of course, under the mass transit, and they've got their own tab. We have tram stops that can only be placed on tram lines, double tram tracks that can either be run by themselves, like so, or what we'll be doing almost exclusively is we'll be using the road upgrade tool. The other thing we also have are the one-way tram tracks, which it's self-explanatory. So select your double tram track, select your replace button, target the road you want to replace on, and now you've started building your tram network. If you zone in really tightly, you can see these now 4 extra lines that are going to be running down these streets. So let's take a second before we start laying this out and figure out where exactly we want this tram line to go. As I mentioned, this is a closed loop system, so whatever we do is going to really have to circle back onto itself in one form or another, whether we zoom it up and bring it down all the way around, or at the very least come back to an intersection point where the tram lines can meet up. You won't send people here. This is just a depot. That's it. In fact, likely we'll end up with 2 depots side by side over here. So let's get to it. And we're going to do the best that we can with this. So we want to come up a block. I'm not worried about running a tram line up through here, because you notice we can't. There's a roundabout. And I don't want to delete those particular roundabouts at all. We likely will have to delete that one at the very least. The downside of deleting a roundabout, of course, for us is that it does create a little bit of traffic congestion. At the same time, this is supposed to help fix traffic congestion. So take your pick. You know, do you want to work on your mass transit? Do you want to worry about having a typical intersection? There's nothing really wrong with typical intersections. I just don't like to use them in areas that I know are going to be high traffic and high traffic volume, which of course immediately brings us over here. Now, I think what I'm going to do is just sort of, we're going to have a tram crossing right through there because I'm not going to be putting a lot of buildings this close to this roundabout. It will interfere heavily with, Brendan just froze. It'll interfere heavily with the traffic that comes up here. So that's, well, I'll take the L on that one. All right, now we can continue this and we'll come back and do something about that later. And again, we've got another major roundabout right here that I'm not particularly keen on breaking, but I don't think that we're going to have too much of a choice. Unless, again, we do a cutoff, which I think, again, I'm going to. So we're just going to... Now, the question of can you elevate tram tracks on their own? And yes, you can. Can we... Actually, there's something I do want to check. If we have an elevated tram track, can we cross a roundabout? Yes, we can. So I'm going to... This is a test. This is only a test. I'm checking to see... Ew. That's a roundabout at headache. What I want to see is if we can start low, go up. Did that do anything that I can see? Not that I can see. Okay, so let's start up. Let's say we have an overlapping item of the post off of the hurt. Huh, looks like the posts on this road are interfering with the things that are on the road. All right, let's go back over here. We'll test this on this side. That alone is disqualifying, but I'm trying to show you guys how we can maybe feasibly find a better way to make this work. So we've removed the tram lines and it's still saying that there's tram lines here. Oh, that's right. When it comes to tram lines, to delete them, you're going to have to write if you've got them overlapped on a road. So like here, okay, we just put a tram line there. Right clicking removes it. Just so you know, it does create a headache. It's what it is. The game is the game. Okay, so let's go back to our straight line tool, elevation of 10, set. Straight line tool. Looks like it needs a lot of space to do this, if it's going to let us do it at all. And no, for some reason, it's not going to let us to from ground up. And that's a shame. That's a legitimate shame. That would have solved our problem right here. Oops. Wrong way to do that. Okay, corrected that node. So I'm just going to come over here. We're going to get pretty close to the corner. Going to drop it. Then we're going to go back to our upgrade tool. And then we'll delete that mini node right there. But what we also have to do is, you notice it's added all these extra unnecessary crosswalks. So we get rid of those because I don't want people trying to cross over tram tracks. Just know that feels like a stupid idea. Okay, so where do I actually want this to go? I'd like it to go down at the very least in front of our hospital. coming over, coming down. Now, this area doesn't use any roundabouts. We've got a big roundabout on our 8-lane right here, and we do not want to interfere with that. We could go up and down and over, like we just did to skip that, but I think instead I'm just going to go ahead and go straight down. And then I'm going to come over here, zip it down through that 8-lane right there, and we're going to see if the game throws a fit. Well, let's see. Let me look for a second. I know you guys can probably hear the wheels turning in my head as I'm trying to think this through. Now, it looks like it is going to be nice enough to at least let me run that up through here until we hit that roundabout right there. So we'll just keep sort of going. Oh, it won't let me put it there because of that node glitch. All right, that's not so good. We'll run it down that length of pedestrian. Okay. And then we should be able to skip that. Go ahead and quickly remove that unnecessary bit. I believe we can run this under the tunnel. We're going to find out. We can, we could, we did. All right, we've got roundabouts up here that I don't want to interfere with, but it would be nice to be able to run. Let's see, where's our train station? I know it's over here somewhere. Okay, so our train station's all the way over there. Now, as a quick note, this is one of the things that you want to sort of do when you are developing your mass transit lines, and that's to have some sort of overlap. Because obviously, you can't board the train you can't board the train to get on the station if you are right here. It's not going to work. I mean, you can't get on a train from this road that's highlighted. You can walk there, you can drive there, but you can't get there. Or you could, theoretically, if I put one there, get on a tram right here, and then have the tram take you to the train station, and then have the train station take you to wherever else you want to go, whether it's out of town or to another larger section of town. Same thing with a bus station or a bus stop. Sure, you don't necessarily want to have the tram and the bus going to the same exact places, but having your trams stopping at a bus depot may be a good way to help people get through and around town. And that's going to work in the same principle with their subway station or harbor and everything else. Having interconnected nodes that ultimately serve different destinations is a really good way to plan out your transit networks. Speaking of which, I forgot where we were. Okay, so right here. I'd like, at the very least, to eventually get over to the college, but I don't see how that's going to be inherently viable. Well, no, I take that back. I think I do. And it very much feels like you're making a Pac-Man maze, especially when you didn't plan to do something like this in the first place. Because I never use trams, I didn't plan on doing this. And then, of course, we get weird things like here. I'm going to put this here and it's going to blow up a house. Why? I have no idea. Game is weird in some aspects. I love it, but man, it gets weird sometimes. And you notice, again, right here, while it does highlight like we should be able to put it, it just absolutely will not work for no apparent reason. I just wanted to demonstrate that really fast. Huh. It says we can, but it's not. Ah, it's because that is a one-way alley. It's not an alley. There's a one-way pedestrian path. Well, let's go ahead and just upgrade that. I know it's going to destroy a building or two, but for our needs, it's what we need. Sometimes eminent domain happens. I'm currently in the process of trying to get my hometown to eminent domain part of my yard so that they can be responsible for it the next time I semi drives through it. Okay. So we're sort of building on our main road right here. I'm looking to see if we can't shoot this through the town. Like I said, again, this is a very closed loop system, but there's nothing that's going to stop you from doing multiple closed loops. So if we have a loop that runs through here and then connects to this, that would be okay. And we have a loop that spits off from here, but still comes back to connects to this, that's going to be okay. It's just a question of where do we want to stick our lines. And now, one thing you may be noticing, in some locations, it's deleting our trees and our deco. Not all locations, just some of them, because we wouldn't want to have any consistency. Went too far, because here we're going to be interfering with roundabouts, and we can't play that. So we'll delete that. We're right mouse button clicking to undo what we did. Nope, can't go there. Big roundabout. Cannot put a tram line on gravel roads, even though it highlights that. That's only honestly fairly rational and reasonable. All right, we've got roundabouts all the way up through here. And at some point, it looks like I did connect that back to the tram network. Yeah. Okay. So we sort of have a closed loop system here. And the other thing that I don't like about trams is that until you start laying your tram stops, it's going to be hard to see where everything actually is and get your lines going because it blends in with literally everything. So if you don't remember exactly where your tram lines are, you have a headache. But we can see right now they are in the middle of these lanes. So let's go ahead and continue up. Okay, roundabout, roundabout. Let's delete that. And then that is what? That is a 4-lane road with parallel parking. No, perpendicular. Okay, we'll go ahead and connect it over there. That's fine. All right, deleting right there. Looks like we need to connect a 2-lane angled road. That's 1 lane. Angled parking alley. Is that what that is? It looks like it to me. Nope, that is not an angled parking alley. That is a 2-lane angled parking road. And you can tell because, look, it destroyed all the sidewalks and everything right there. Okay, we fixed. Wow, and that literally goes right to the college. That's good. All right. I'm trying to see where our tram lines are over here because I know we came up through this way, but I don't. Okay, it looks like we came up over there. Are we good to go down? How far down do we want to go? Oh, wait. I don't see any missing link signs, so apparently we've already reconnected back to our trams lines. Okay, our closed loops are done. That gives us a run through most of Strawberry Dreams, but it doesn't do anything with down here. We'll come back to this area later once we start developing it um, to connect these lines up. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and just build our second tram depot right over here. I think that's going to preemptively save us a significant headache. Okay, closed loop has been re-looped again. All right, now let's save game so we don't lose any of that. All right, now it's time for our next question, and that is the North American tram stops. Do we not have an, or the European tram stops? Really quick, just to show you guys the difference. That's North American. That's European. If you scroll down, do you see any difference? Do you see anything? What the heck? Okay, so tram, random transformer, tram. That's the North American. That's the European. It's a purely visual thing. It does not matter in any way, shape, or form. Okay, I actually kind of like the European one a little bit better myself. Okay, so when it comes to tram stops, these are a little bit different. Depending on the type of road you're putting them on, they can either go on the sides or they may end up in the center. If you look over here, I think we ran a tram stop through a walk path. I know we did, I just don't remember where it was. When I see it, I'll show you. When they're on a walking path, a passenger path, then they will be able to be put in the center, like bus stops. Otherwise, they'll go on the sides. And you do have to keep in mind left and right sides of a road. So if you want to have stops on the same road, one going, say, north, one going south, you will have to go ahead and place doubles down as you go. Now, what I like to do is once we get the tram lines down, we sort of gave ourselves an idea of where we want this to go, is to then take a look and start planning out where we want these, well, follow the tram tracks. Now we can see that we've got putting our stops, they're highlighted in purple. That's what I was trying to say and failing to do so. Okay. I'm not really inclined to put one over here. I know that, well, there are a lot of workspaces here. Okay, we'll go ahead and put a tram stop there. All right, we don't have anything up over here right now. We can always add a tram stop later. Okay, this is our What are you? This is our hospital. I do want to put a tram stop on both sides of you. Then going down. We don't have much over here yet, but we will. Let's say we've got a tram stop up there. I don't want to put any tram stops on our main road if I don't have to, because it will interfere with the flow of traffic. We'll go ahead and put one down there. Okay, it's not going to let us put one. Oh, yes, it will. Okay, we just have to be careful. It's got to have some room between the rail pillars. So let me save, because the last time we interfered with this, it crashed. I'm going to try to avoid having it crash again. I think... Right there's a decent spot for those two. Okay, then several blocks away. Over here next to this residential. And a good extra block away from the 8 lanes so it doesn't interfere. Okay, don't need to stop right here. Currently, we will in the future. In the future, we can go back and add an extra stop, and we'll just sort of drag and drop things over. Okay, so we'll go ahead and have this come up. It splits away from our college right over here. We do have a bus stop right here, so let's, since that bus stop is on this side, let's put our tram stop a block below it. So if you get off of the tram, want to go up and take the bus, you can. And then, because I didn't do a opposite loop on our bus stop. That's one thing I did not do. Okay. And I think just for reasons, we'll go ahead and stick another... Oh, wait, that's the wrong side. Well, we're trying to keep this as equal as possible, so tram stop, we're good. Okay, now I did want to put a tram stop in front of our rail station, so let's do that. Okay, and let's follow our everything through here. Okay, where are our tram lines? I'm pretty sure I've got our tram line running right on our bus line. I'm having a hard time seeing it, and it looks like that we do. So, let's see, our train station's right there. Next stop right over here next to the bus depot. That is exactly where this is going to go. Okay, now, here's our first split. We'll end up doing 2 lines out of this area alone. But we'll focus on those as we get to it. So we're coming up through here, over here in this residential. I'm going to stick our next spot 1 and 2, not on that side. Then I think over here is fair. And there, next to the bus stop and next to our commercial. Then again, by your train, and as a bonus, by a bus stop. Then we're going to drop 2 in this residential area. 1 there. 1 over here by the church/cemetery. Might be kind of loud for the parishioners for the church and the real world, but at the same time, I think it would be wonderful to be able to go to church by way of trolley myself. I think that would be really sweet for a Sunday morning. And hey, Ryoko, yeah, Grippy Sock Vacation would be great. As I was just mentioning on the video, forgive me if my voice sounds a little bit rough and I sound congested. It does seem I've picked up a sinus infection because it's spring, and of course I did. Okay, because I live in the valley. All right, we don't have anything right here, but this is going to become a residential area. Let me go ahead and just slip stations here as we get up the bridge. Then I did want one directly beside the college entrance, and hey, what do you know, another bus stop. Okay, take advantage of that. Coming back down, good spots. Let's see, right over here in this residential commercial area. Coming back down, and now we've completed our closed loop in terms of planning for stops. But again, you notice we put no stops, no tram lines, no anything down here in this corridor. When we come back to develop this corridor, we absolutely will. I'm going to save one more time. I'm going to take a drink while I do. Oh, praise the Lord for caffeinated water. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to thank the particular factories in question. The city's up in arms right now this week, anyways, and I don't want people up in arms at me. Okay. Um, and the good thing about building up on this industrial park over here is if we need it, and we might, we can still put in additional trolley stations here. You'll see how fast we use up our trolley station access. It's going to be ridiculous. Okay, now we start setting up our lines. We're going to do one line that is going to start, we're going to follow the path that we mapped out on our heads as we laid out our trolley stops. Now, trolleys, even though I don't like to use them, they are very popular. Your Sims will love them. They will love to get on these things. They will love to fuss around and ride these. You're going to get, typically in terms of transit use, your subway's going to get the most use, then your trams, then your buses. And it's pretty exciting this way. Okay, it should alleviate some of the traffic, especially over here in some of our high density areas. Okay. And as you note, as we're laying these stops out, the game's going to determine the route to take. When it comes to buses, it's a little harder to sometimes understand the game's reasoning. When it comes to tram, obviously, there's usually only one thing it can do, same with rail or subway. Usually, not always. Sometimes the game's going to be like, yeah, but this is shorter by like a micron, and you have to make some adjustments to it. I actually studied this kind of concept when I was in college, and it heavily used something called game theory to determine the best transit. And you notice right there, see, I'm thinking that we had a line that runs there. We don't. So the game is telling me, hey, no, we're going to have to go everywhere for this. Okay, so we come up, we come over. That's better. All right, now we're going to have this line go over here. And of course, it also helps if you get on the right side of the road for these. There we go. When you have a lower population in your city, you'll notice that the calculations for this go a lot faster. As you add more people to your city, as the game starts melting your processor, it will be significantly longer. So just heads up warning. If you're like, Josh, this takes forever in my city. Yeah, well, it's because you have 3 times as many people as I do, or a processor that's significantly slower. Like, that one is not my fault. Sorry. Okay. So come down, we're going to finish. Coming over here, we're almost done. Now this is going to be a super wide loop trolley ride. The second loop we do is going to be significantly shorter. Now we're just following our path back, coming back on the opposite side of the road, filling our spots. Getting kind of the zoomies. Okay, and then you can see how that automatically completes. And now our first trolley line is done. And if we swing over here while the game runs, we're going to take a look and see who services the stations. Okay, here's our first trolley bus. Now, let's take a quick look and see how many people, let's take some information on this line really quick while the game processes it out. So we click on our mass transit. Sometimes it automatically opens up this transportation window. Let's go over here to trams. And it's going to tell me how many trams we're using. For that one line, we're using 8 trams. And this one station only handles 15 buses at max, and that's with the garage extension. And for some reason, it's using an extra 3 out of this one as well. It's using 15. Wait, our line was lying to us. Yeah. So it was only telling us how many trams were active at that exact moment. Oh, look, we've got a spammer. All right. Let me get rid of them really quick out of our chat window. Muted. Ban user. And then okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so that one line is using 18 trams, which completely tapped out our first tram station, which is why I built 2. Okay, and well, it says more than that. 12 of 15, and that one's using 6 of 15. So that's the other thing. If you have any decent sized tram lines, it's going to create a choke point. Speaking of choke points, when you first lay out your tram lines, all of them are going to be stopping at the initial stops. And you're going to run into a case where you end up with a massive backlog like this. The same thing will happen with buses, but with trams, it's a lot more noticeable. And that's one of the reasons you want to avoid setting up tram lines close to major arteries, especially when they're starting. Because otherwise, if I put this tram depot next to one of our major 8-lane highways, or not highways, but you know what I mean, one of our major 8-lane arteries, they would just be getting stuck in that and tearing up traffic. As it stands right now, they're interfering with our garbage truck collection, with our recycling plant. Can't do anything about it, but they had to go somewhere. All right, let's go ahead and finish up this by putting in our second line. Now, just because our hub is down there, what I'm going to do is take a look at a good spot down here to start a line that's going to have a little bit of an overlap. And I think what I'm going to do is change this to tram. And we're going to start a second line right here. That goes to there. That comes up to our college. That hits at that unused waypoint. And gonna need to make a couple of extra. Yeah. So in order to have this system be fully closed loop, it just does not like that corner building there at all, does it? Well, at this point, they don't like me either. Okay, now the downside of clicking out of that to lay those extra things down is it did delete the line that we were working on. So it is what it is. I think it did, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Okay. And you notice now that I added that extra line right there, it did remap for some reason. Part of our existing line, because it now is going through there and I don't see what it changed. It obviously changed something, I just don't see what it changed. Strange. Now, that is strange. The other thing that we didn't do, we didn't, well, we did loop it to come back around. It looks like, what did I do? Oh, I see. We did one loop, but we didn't do it cover the opposite direction on all of these stops. Some of it we just sort of backtracked on. Some of it we didn't. So we do have the question of, do we want to go to that effort to do a backtrack? And I think that we will up here. So we're going to end up making 3 lines in total. Okay. So create a new route starting here. Oh, wait. I looked at that and I wanted to add tram stops. Now, you notice we put a stop on a line. Let's go ahead and connect it. Done. That's all you have to do to add a new line. Okay, or add a new stop on a line. All right, one more time. Creating a new stop here. Stop. Gonna let it swing up. Connect. Come down. Come over. Looks like it's raining. And where is that going? Waypoint stop there. Waypoint stop there. And then, okay, that gives us a route up to our college. And now let's do a route from here on this side of the road that will, trying to dodge those roundabouts, and I don't see how I can. Okay, we're going to add additional nodes going up through there. Okay, so starting a new route. It's going to stack with that a little bit. Do I have any way for it not to stack with that? The way I have this down? Doesn't look like it. I've screwed up. Let's exit out of that and reset that. Okay, so how do I want this to go? So we have to look at this as right side. I'm sure I'm missing something very stupid here. Okay, so I want it to go there. And I ultimately want it to connect to these roads on this side. We've already determined we can't put it through a gravel, and we can't run it through roundabouts. There's the word I was looking for. And all of these are roundabouts, unfortunately. Let me approach this from a different direction. New route starting here. Yeah, that's what I wanted us to do. Add new waypoint. Add new waypoint. Add new waypoint. But I think we're going to have to do our closed loop right through here. Otherwise, this is not going to work out the way we want it to. Okay, once more with feeling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. Completed. All right. Third tram line done. Saving game. Overwriting save. Resuming game. And now I'm going to bet you guys we're going to have a complaint. Eight, 11, 12. Now we're just going to have to wait a minute. Let's go ahead and put speed up on max, although I hate to waste daylight. These trams are now all in use. 15 of 15, that one is maxed out. 13 of 15, that one's almost maxed out. And we managed to barely avoid maxing out both of our tram depots. But that's why I built 2, because I knew 1 for this was not going to be enough. Okay, and so when we put our next line, as we develop down over here, we will end up having to build a 3rd tram depot. And like the train depots, they add up quickly. The bus depots, thankfully, don't. So, just really quick, what's our train line use? 8 of 15, 7 of 15. Okay, so we're still good on trains for right now. All right, let's take a look at a couple places we didn't do a lot of development on, and that would be up here over in King's Field, where we can get away with, let's see, we did put in that small school, small elementary school. And I do want to come back later and detail up this area because it looks very bland. But for right now, what I'm going to do is take a look at our signature buildings under our residential. All right, and see, let's see. We've got very few low density housing buildings, 6 of 25,000 cells. However, we are working on American, is what I thought. But there's also the waterfront buildings, which, when this pack was launched, it really upset people because the waterfront buildings do not look any different than the regular ones. They backtracked on the decision that led to that. But it was a chaotic couple of days for Paradox Interactive, and I am very glad and grateful they made a wiser decision with how they were approaching that. All right, let's bring this down here to sort of maximize that out. Looks like we got one pathway node that's going to be irked at us if we try to. Really? Okay, so let's finish zoning in our waterfront buildings up here that are not really water or fronty. that zoned in. Then I think over here, instead of the unzonable pedestrian paths, I'm going to, oh shoot, let me go ahead and preemptively zone that much. Looking for small pedestrian streets, there it is. And I'm also going to put in some low density commercial in this neighborhood, filling in some of these squares a little bit. To give the nice people of Kingsfield some shops to visit so they don't have to go all the way downtown for groceries. Okay, that fills in that. And then let's go ahead and take care of the rest of it. Back to North American Waterfront Housing. We'll just, I'm not even going to try to break that up any. Actually, right there, I'm going to delete that and put in high density. There we go. Makes me a little happier. And then down here, because highways do create noise pollution, slip in some office buildings. I hate to use up our office demand because I'd rather have that be high density, but it is what it is. And then over here, I'm going to, let's see, yeah, there's no parks in this area, and that's making our people sad. I should have zoned a park or two before I did all this. Tennis court's too big. Outdoor gym will fit right there. Outdoor gym will fit right there too. Let's look in some of our smaller parks. Tiny City Park will always fit. It's 2x3. Although I'm looking for our small playground. That'll fit, but how about a small park? No, that'll dog park. I'm trying to get something that's close to 3x3 as I can. So I can fill up space but not delete any houses. Okay, because we're going to have to come over here and delete a house. Small playground, I think right there next to those commercial buildings will be good. And yeah, I think we're good. And as you can see, all right, so look, here's just low residential standard buildings, and our waterfront buildings all have pools. That's like the main difference. And like there's nothing here that screams beach. You know, this is not a beach daddy moment for me. This is a, hey, this is more of a rich developed neighborhood. And that's kind of accurate. Where I live, there's a major chemical plant, and then directly across the highway from that is a rich area where the plant managers and some of the plant employees work in single family homes and things of that nature. So it's not a stretch of reality. Well, I do have some empty space here that we're not using, so I'm going to come over to our vegetation, and I'm not in the mood to do heavy work over here, so we're just gonna select large trees, select single. Where's our brush? Where is my brush tool? Oh, there it is. I'm blind for a second. Okay, and we're just going to fill in all this with random trees. I'm not even going to try to do anything too major. Increase our brush strength, though. Add some color. We're just sort of filling these vacant spots in. Now, we don't have any mass transit over here of any sort, and it sort of defeats the purpose of what we've been working on. So let me just get a North American bus stop shelter or 2 either side of that block, and go ahead and set one up over here in this industrial area. And then I'm just going to go over here to our bus line tool. We're going to pick an empty spot. Go ahead and send it to that one. To that one. Oh, let's go ahead and add an extra spot up here. That shouldn't be too unreasonable. Of course, we've got to redo what we did because we clicked off, but I'm trying to... Oops. Gotta want that one. Use that bay. Run it to that stop. Come up there. And adding this station there will force it to go up all the way right there. All right, waypointed, waypointed, come back over. Seems to think the shortest path is right here. I'm not going to argue with it. We really should have a bus stop somewhere down here. So one more try at this. Let's... Right there should be fine. Okay. And we'll start from there. 1. It'll cycle into the bus station. 2. It'll hit that existing stop. It'll hit that. Goes there. Comes down. Hits those 2. Spins back around, comes back down, hits that extra route completed, done. We don't have any bus routes currently installed. Oops, down over here. That's something that we will want to work on in the near future. Okay. Look at us. We've done things, everybody. Okay, how's the train station doing? Passengers waiting, 16. That's the start. All right, saving game. Now, we still got a couple of mass transit types to work on, but they're not going to be critical for what we're doing right now. So what we've been building up to, of course, is our passenger harbor, which is actually going to get less use than any of these other tram systems or transit systems. So while that's going to be a thing we're going to do, we're not... It takes a lot of development and a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. And although I am taking today off of real life requirements, that's going to be a whole video in and of itself. Same thing with subway. While we do have subway systems unlocked, I don't want to really go out of the way with developing that until we have a more defined city center. We eventually will. I like to put my subway systems down when we get around 150,000 people, although we can easily get that from the framework we've built right now, but all things in time. And of course, we will have to install a subway yard to handle our subway systems, and that's just going to be a lot of more effort. It's going to be very similar to what we did up here with our rail yards. All right. So moving on, what's next for us? Well, the good news is we've earned a lot of money, and we're earning a lot of money faster. And here's a perk. When you put down mass transit systems, it makes your city look more, what's the phrase? People will want to move into it. Your city's got a higher attractiveness rating in general for the game because your sims are like, wow, it's easy to get around here. Let's live here, and it'll increase the amount of people moving in. It'll increase your building levels. You know, it will increase the need for your services as your city grows, but that's a side effect. So it's always good if you're struggling to get city growth. Well, look at your transit systems. Ease up on your vehicle traffic by installing a tram line, a bus station, or whatever. It'll make your citizens happier in the long run. Let's take a quick look. What are people angry about? High noise pollution. It's coming with what we do. Small homes. That's coming from the fact that we have a lot of mid and high density buildings. And you can see how these buildings are starting to get pretty tall, even at levels 1, 2, and 3. Those are 3 of 5s already. Nice, nice. 1 of 5, 1 of 5. Okay, doing good, doing good. So, we've already established great fire coverage. Our average fire hazard right now is 18%. So I think that's pretty solid. Okay, our average crime probability is 1%. We have no criminals in prison, no criminals in jail. Currently, we have 26 criminals. The number of crimes per month is 1. I'm really happy about that. Let's take a look at our administration. While we could use a welfare office up in this area, it's not overly critical. We'll go ahead and install one. We've got the money. They're relatively cheap for where we're at right now. And just to clarify that, when we first put it down, it was really expensive. Right now, it's 110,000, but we're making 178,000 an hour. I think we can afford one. So let's take a look at our options. I think the Eastern European Welfare Office will be fine, and it doesn't need to go over here with all the rich houses, really. It can be... Can we force it to fit? No, because there's something right there. It is right there. Oh, just the way the road is built right there. It can go on the other side of that road and it won't hurt anything whatsoever. So let's do that. Well, actually, let's take a look at Fairview Lane. Let's see if we can't drag that alley out first and have it connect to that roadway. We can. Doesn't interfere with anything. We're good. Let's delete this currently unnecessary path. And then we'll come down for that welfare office, and we'll just slide it right in right there on that side. There we go. Has no upgrades. Let's go ahead and just give it an operating district of up here. I don't see any reason to expand it out any. So that's done. We're good. Just generally improve the quality of life for people down here. Ooh, speaking of improved quality of life. Ouch, homie. Looks like you went flying. Police car is dispatched, so I mean, good luck. Good luck to you, Chappelle. Okay. And now you're leaving. All right, cool. Okay, so we've handled administration. We do have a couple of other buildings we could unlock for the city, like Central Bank. That's super expensive. We don't really need that right now. And we've put down our first city hall. We do have a couple of more city halls that the game looks like it's going to let us build. Then we move over to our mass transit. We've already talked about that. How's our power usage going? Our electricity availability is good. Trade is good. So far, so good. How about our water? We're getting close to maximizing out our water usage, but we're still good for a while. We're not exporting sewage. And our sewage treatment is still pretty good. Still very good. So we're good on all those things. And as you know, we're not trading water because the highways don't automatically have water pipes, and highway is the only road connection we have in and out of the city all the way up here. Well, it's not, but rail lines don't do it either. Okay, okay. Sorry about that. I had a business message. I'll have to deal with that later. Okay. And I know that our park system is good. Actually, no, our park system is not good. First of all, while this area does have park developments, this area doesn't. We'll want to address that in the near future. What I know that I'm likely short on are our park maintenance departments. I think I only have one or two down. Uh, but I don't. So, what's the icon for that? Tree with a shed like thing. Huh. Do I have any park maintenance buildings down? Thought we installed one or two at least. Okay. All right. Well, let's go over here to our industrial park and look for a good spot for this. Right there should be okay. I was pretty certain we installed one or two of these. All right. This is a building with additional functions. So we'll go ahead and put down a extra garage because of the fact that we just use parks constantly everywhere. And then supply storage snaps onto the footprint. Okay, that'll employ about 48 people, and we'll have park maintenance vehicles. What this will do is basically, it just, there are weird metrics in this game that this game handles. This will just provide maintenance services to the park and make sure that they're providing the best leisure benefit to visitors, whether they're citizens or tourists. It's it's a low importance thing, but it is important to at least do some, have at least a couple of these. I have no idea, none whatsoever, what the min max is on this. So when you think of it, is my guideline for that. Okay. Any new signature buildings we want to put down? Under residential, we've got a couple of cool ones, but nothing too major, nothing too big, nothing that's going to be groundbreaking. Under mixed use, now we do have a couple that I would like to install, but so far they're all kind of small and very niche. So no on those. Over in our straight commercial, we do have this department store building, but we've got that humongous department store right there. There's no sense in stacking those up. We do have a bunch of things like supermarket, which will be good for, I kind of want to say it'll be good fitting in somewhere up in here or over here, maybe. We have a lot of hotels and pubs and things, which will be necessary, but a small hotel like this just, it doesn't mesh with anything we have already installed. The petrol stations are really cool. For us Americans, that's known as a gas station. Um, I like to put these near major highway intersections and interchanges. Uh, you know, as it turns out that we do have a major highway intersection interchange down over here, but we're not going to be putting in a lot of commercial buildings. That said, it would be kind of cool. I think just to have like a sort of highway rest stop at some point around over here as you're coming into the major part of the city, as you're just getting ready to jump onto interstate. So we'll just go ahead and slip that in over there just because we can. Okay. Now, our industrial, we could build ground earth if we wanted to invest in some mining hub buildings or the paper factory, which are both pretty good. I do want to get the chemical plant at some point, but not right now. And the fuel plant will come when we get another 23 level 5 buildings. Switch on takes a lot, and this is a good one to have. Pharma, we will get as soon as we build a medical university. The oil refinery, takes 10,000 industrial building cells, and I'm not going to invest in our industry that much right now. Last thing, I'm hesitant. Wait, let's not do that. Okay, healthcare. Our crematorium availability still says it's low, but it's because our death rate is so weirdly high. And I don't think that there's anything that I can do about that right now. Healthcare availability, we just put down the humongous hospital. Um, that should be enough for the city. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It's got to be some sort of odd bug going on right now, and I'm just going to sort of be chill on it. All right, garbage processing. We're good. Our newest recycling plant is handling everything just fine. We're getting into the green, lighter green a little bit, so we will want to go ahead and invest in the future. The industrial waste processing site, while we are making a lot of money, we're not making enough to justify it right this time. All right, last but not least, again, we're in school nightmare territory. We've got schools all the way through the northern part of the city. We don't have as many down here in the southern part. Let's take a look and see how bad these elementary schools are being hammered. Maxed out, almost maxed out, and we need to look for some good places for new ones. And apparently our high schools are drowning, and that's going to directly affect our office demands. So that is one thing we'll go ahead and put in, because we don't have any high schools down over here in what's turning into our new city center. So let's take a look at our high school options. So earlier, when we started this, we put in this very large high school, just a basic high school. It has a pretty tremendous footprint once you add on the sports field. And then later we added our city high school, very small footprint, not a whole lot involved in that one. So let's see if there's a good middle ground for us. We have our urban high school with a decent footprint, kind of on the small side. We've also got the modern high school, which is a fun building. I do like the looks of it. Eastern European, a little bit bigger, a little bit more varied. And I think we put in an Eastern European high school up here, didn't we? Or just an Eastern European elementary. Okay, that's the Eastern European elementary school back up here. Choices. Choices, choices. Okay, and that's, oops, we scrolled. That's university style stuff. So, yeah, the Eastern European high school is so small. I'm not interested. And it's only got a student capacity of 250. So that's out. Small high school is a cool little curvy building that reminds me very much of the junior high school that I went to. Okay. Student capacity 400. But you're like, Josh, didn't you say you're homeschooled? Yeah, I was, but I went to junior high for like a year. It was terrible. Hated it. Okay, Eastern European high school fits 800. Regular high school, 800. Modern high school, 1750. Considering that we are down by 2,000, I would say the modern high school would probably be a good choice for us. So let's take a look, and let's look for a good spot for it. So we've got a lot of residential sprouting up over here. We're going to have more residential over here. So basically anywhere in this area to service the community. Let me say, all right, that's right off the interstate. That doesn't feel quite appropriate. Let's see if we can't add a road stretching from here to here. Let's save. Much like the real world, education is always a crisis with City Skylines too. I wish I could say it was otherwise. I wish we could say that it was otherwise in the real world too. But this is a Twitch channel, and I'm not going to get political on it, as much as it pains me. Suffice it to say that keeping up with the needs of student population is something that is difficult even in the best of times. And you notice I'm using some curved lanes here to give us a little bit of a non-gritty look in some of these areas. And we'll go ahead and get our 8-lane divided road right here and stretch it out for guideline purposes. It's not really going to get used anytime soon, but guidelines be guideliding. Okay. Okay. Just, this is going to add a little bit of variation as we get closer to the coastline. Okay, now moving on from here, gridding out a little bit. 4-lane standard road right down through here. Can live with that. And another 4-lane road right there. It's almost a little overkill. Almost. Let me fill in this line here so I don't lose these buildings. Let's take a look. Let's use North America high density just for that whole strip right there. That's what I want to fill in. Okay, then we can come over here to our 4-lane. Of course, we're going to delete all those. It's not going to fit right there exactly. Of course not. Yeah, well. Yeah, well, come on, you can do this. There we go. Good road, good road. Sometimes you just have to coax things just a little bit. Okay, we're good. And then through this, let's see, we do have a trolley stop right here, don't we? Where is that trolley stop? Yeah, it's literally right here, so that looks like a good place to put a walkable road to me, if the game will let me. Game will not let me. Game will let me put it right there. Will the game let me put it right here? Can I put it right here? Wait. Switch to our straight line tool. I didn't realize we were off of it. Okay. Cool. Walkable path right down through here. And then our high school. Yeah, let's just stick our high school right off the tram. I think that's a great spot for it. Modern high school right in this area. And I'm going to force it to stay in this operating district. And when we do have some additional buildings, we can build onto it. This one, mindfulness room. I like it. And then we can increase student capacity. Student dormitory is only 200. And that's going to fit perfectly right there. But the additional teaching building fits an extra 1,000 students. And I think that's wonderful. So just let me hold on that one for a second because I want to take a look and see what sort of parks we can put over here. Because I like to put in a large sports park. The other basic high school that we built at the start of the thing does have that large track and field area. This one doesn't come with that. So let's look and see what would be a good fit and where it would be a good fit. A soccer field right behind a whole bunch of skyscrapers, maybe? American football field? But we installed a football. Is that a football field or yeah, that is a football field. Let's stick in. Of course, it doesn't have to be a sports park. It does not have to be a sports park. And take a look at our other large parks. A large city park would fit very well right behind all that. A multi-purpose park. Ooh, would fit right there. Large plaza would not, though. A large plaza would fit if we well, no, it wouldn't. Not the way I would want it to fit. So that's out. And I know that the Grand City Plaza or the Community City Park won't fit. Shame. Shame on that. That would be a great spot right there, right across from the high school. Now, of course, we can make a fit if we really want it. We absolutely can make a fit. And I think I really do want that. So let's take a look at this road. What is it? Standard 2 lane. We're going to flip off all of our guidelines. Scoot it down a square. This is going to make that road a little uneven right there, but we'll live with it. And then I want the entrance to that up on Sheffield Street. There we go. We've got that nice and centered. So we'll fill in these sides with some different stuff. Now, let's go back over here to this and install these additional teaching buildings. We'll really max this one out. This is going to be 5,000 students strong. And then in between those, we'll come over here with some additional high density residential right there, though, because it is next to those train tracks. High density office to absorb some of the sounds. High density commercial. And then let's look and see what parking lots will fit in. Long parking lot will not. Medium. Single row, that absolutely does right there. Will it fit right here? Not unless I delete that. Let's go ahead and delete it now before it develops all the way. Okay. Any way to get a roadway through here? Doesn't look like it. Can decorate with a standard path though. Or, let's see, will a pedestrian road work? Well, no, because we don't have any way to get it to go through things unless I... Okay, so I'm going to move this particular building up one. Is it not after I go through all that? Drat. Okay, so it is going to have to be just a standard pedestrian path. Because I can only move so much. Yeah, that's the same footprint as that, so that's out. Okay, let's get it filled in. All right. Standard pedestrian walking path. Will accomplish nothing, will at least sort of add a little bit of, flair of development right through here. Then looking over here at this side, can I fill in another one of those medium parking? No, I cannot. Small canopy covered parking lots. Nope. Small single row parking lot. Still nope. Motorcycle parking lot. Strangely again, nope. Well, wait, to take away all my options. Small gravel, also nope. All right. This thing we only have like a square unit of 1 there. So I guess that means for us, our choices are the canopy covered lots. 1 there. This is overlapping for some reason. One there, and then I'm just going to fill in the rest of this with tiny perks. Except for that square right there, which is not going to let me do anything for reasons unknown. We'll go to our surfaces tool. Drag that out to fill that in, then come down to park props. Small gazebo. There we go. So it doesn't look empty. We're good. All right. What about right here? Pedestrian path. Just to fill that in. No reason not to. Give those deer something to walk through. That's terrifying. I live in a deer heavy area, so when I say that's terrifying, that's terrifying. Okay. All right, so we've theoretically solved at least part of the high school problem, but I have a sneaking suspicion that we need another high school up here. Because we specifically targeted that. Oh, hey there, Gilar. Hey, I hadn't seen the screen. Hey, I was focused on the game. Welcome. Didn't mean to ignore you. That was entirely my bad. G Oreo. Okay. Sorry about that. So how are you doing this afternoon? Alrighty. Well, I'm glad you're doing good. Right now, we are trying to solve a little bit of our education crisis and just adding a couple of extra high schools. Not doing anything too major right now. And doing this in preparation for some other advancements. Okay, so we're going to use the Eastern European High School over here because we use the Eastern European Elementary School over here on this side. Drop it there, add another park. Remastered, Cities Skylines 1 or CS2? Oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Okay, so right over here, right off this highway, right next to the high school, we're going to slip in a multi-purpose park. And then coming in behind it, I'm going to be careful about trying to install a walk path. This particular asset does allow walking paths to come up to it to add an additional entryway for your citizens. Oh, you're playing on the Xbox. Okay. Okay. See, I'm PC only. I don't have an Xbox. I forgot that they put it on the box. City Skylines 1. I know that a lot of people are really upset that they haven't released CS2 yet for um, consoles, and it's something I do hope they do. The whole development and release process for this has been like, I love the game. I wish it had come out of the oven a little more baked, as it were. Okay, then down on this side, let's see, because we're right next to trains, rail, and all that stuff, we'll focus on doing dense commercial. I'm going to put in some French high density offices over here because they serve the needs for high density, but they are smaller buildings. And I'm going to slip in a little bit of mixed housing on those side streets. That fills in that block a little bit nicer. All right, so far so good. That should, oh, wait, let me select our operating district. And I was right, we did need some extra space. Now this building, the Eastern European High School, does not have any attachments or growables that you can add to it. It is what it is. It is 800 students. So we'll come back and check on this in a little bit, see if we need to add more to it, if this alone is good or if not. But that brings us up to par with our education crisis, minus our elementary school crisis, and we will always have an elementary school crisis. Let me save the game before we move on to our next subject. Oh, no, no, no. You're not self talking at all. I do a lot of my talking on voice, and it's great to have people over here talking in chat. And you've got a YouTube channel too? That is cool. Feel free to drop a link, and I'll drop a link for mine. So let me find it really quick. Go. Okay. So, yeah. Started yours in June. I started mine years ago, but I didn't put a whole lot of content on it. It's got just a few follow-up vids, some writing stuff, some book reads over the pandemic. But I have been uploading these very slowly over the last month and a half. Oh, shoot, it didn't show. I may have links blocked. Let me... Hang on just a second. Stop. Okay, got your social. Let's see if I can't. Hang on just a second, G. It looks like that I have blocked the ability for people to post links in chat, and that's not something I can easily get to. Drop your channel name here, and that should be enough. For me, I can post links. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like other people can as well. I do apologize for that. In fact, I know why I did that. It's because we had some issues with spammers and people who were doing malicious stuff here in the chat. But that's the internet for you. It's, you know, it's the thing we have to be cognizant of for safety purposes. George Weatherman. All right. Well, I will be sure to check that out after my stream has wrapped up today. Thank you so much for dropping that in there. Okay, well, we've done quite a lot, and what I'd like to do next is to take a look over in Parks and Recreation, go over into tourist attractions and landmarks. These basically do just about the same thing. You can only build one of them each, so you can't build multiple Ferris wheels in your city. They are expensive, but they do provide significant amounts of indoor and outdoor recreation. They will boost the attractiveness of your city, which is especially helpful if you're trying to attract tourists, even though the tourist system is not the greatest in the world. Tourist attractions are aimed specifically at tourists, and you only have a handful of those. My favorite set of these are the Observation Tower and the Modern Art Museum. Over in Landmarks, Nasaluia. I know I'm not saying that right. And the Ferris wheel are my big ones. I do like to put the Grand Hotel down as well. That one, though, I like to save for eventual airports. So these are both super expensive, though. The Observation Tower is a little bit cheaper. I like to put this up either in an area that is coastline friendly. So down here would be pretty wonderful. Do a Kahoot about Cities Skylines. I'm not sure what Kahoot is, I'm afraid. And yeah, if you'd like to record what I'm doing right now, you may. But I will be uploading this particular video to my YouTube channel a couple weeks from now, probably. So I think I would like to put this up here. Put the smaller observation tower up there, I think. That's what we're going to aim for. Will it fit is the question. And the answer is yes, it will. So if I have this observation tower up here, it'll be a great view of the river, everything around it, and a little bit more. Now the question is, how are we going to get a roadway network up there? It's a quiz game. Okay, until I get a chance to look it up, I'm afraid I don't know. If you want to DM me some information, we can talk about doing it later, if you'd like. But before I get on to that, let me look and see what we can do about running a road. Oh, I don't use Discord either. I think we can send PMs over Twitch, can't we? Can we not? Is that not a thing that we can do? Yeah, you can send me a whisper about that, and we can take a look at it from there. Well, let me rephrase it. I do have Discord. I just don't use Discord. Like, it's a thing that I have because it's sort of like mandatory for friends who are leaving other social media platforms. Like, oh yeah, we're leaving Facebook and Meta. I'm like, okay, great, but that's where I do all my business. So it'll be nice never hearing from you again, friend I've known for 20 years. Not that I can blame anybody, but still. Okay, I don't like where that roadway is intersecting. That's just way too uneven for my tastes. Okay, so I'm going to drag this road up here. And then go back over here into our parks. Get this thing. We're going to go ahead and set it up here. I do like... I like this building enough that I wanted to go ahead and sort of place it before we're really even ready for it. I think it'll do pretty good up here. And it's nice that it's going to be overlooking our college, and it's also next to some of our existing and recently added mass transit to allow people to come up and see it up here. We will take a moment, though, split this off. I'm going to just use some alleyways, and I'm going to use our continuous lane tool. I'm also going to flip on our contour lines. Oh, I have I? Okay, give me just a moment. Let me see how I can undo that. I didn't realize I had that setting turned on. Let me set up this roadway really quick. And then I'll flip that up. Can't really put a lot back down all the way in this direction. So I think maybe that side alone. And I think we're going to be good on that side. So what we're going to do, let's come down here. We're going to add a square's worth of high density commercial there. And then low density right there. Low density on that spot. Low density on that spot. On that spot. On that spot. We're going to go partially right there. As you can see, we're sort of drastically, deeply, badly offending our geography set up right through here. So let's go over to our landscaping, level terrain, decreasing our brush size because we don't need to break this right here. I think 40% should be fine. I'm going to select the high point, then drag it out, and we'll go ahead and drag it out a little bit. In fact, I'll go ahead and drag it out all the way up here around Sheffield Lane. That's not going to change our zoning, I don't think, any. Okay, because right there, instead of a building, although that's prime building location, I would like to set aside a, not large plaza. We're going to be looking at a, let's say, yeah, small plaza. Right up here, right off of the tower. And then, because I don't want to see a lot of people parking up here, I'm going to just select spruce trees, snap to roadway. If you guys want to park, park in the parking lot. Okay, give me just a second, G, and I'll be with you with that whisper. Now, you notice this is really messing with the geometry a little bit. I'm going to come over here with the soften terrain tool. We're going to smooth this out a little. It's not going to make a huge difference, but it doesn't always have to. Makes it look just a little bit better, if nothing else. Okay, so we've got now have a nice approach coming up over here to our tower. And this is why I put down that park maintenance building earlier. You can already see it's not at full. It is running at more than 115% efficiency, but that's good. And there is a park maintenance vehicle dispatched to come over here to work on it. So we're good. All right, this gives us something of a little bit of, I don't know. It's the biggest, it's the tallest building we have in terms of height difference. If you happen to be in this thing, your view's not going to be blocked except by a few of these buildings over here and then down this way. But you're going to have a very lovely view of the river and our future developments over here on this side. Saving again. Now that did cost a decent chunk of money, so we're doing, but hey, look, with all of the advancements we've made so far in our city, we've gone from making 130,000 an hour to over 200,000. And we are in printing money stage. Anything we want to build right now, we just have to wait 5-6 minutes at best, or at worst. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm trying to send you a whisper. Okay, one whisper sent. All right, and if you're going to take off to go play your city, I do hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you so much for joining today and for the follow. I appreciate it. Okay, so what's next for our city? What's next for our city development? Really, at this point, what we just need to do is to fill in some of these blocks, fill in some of these zoning areas, build out our eventual city center. The next real thing that's going to take our development time is going to be building in our harbor district down here. Um, I wish I could do something about all of these waiting for hearse calls, but like I said, we do have that bug and glitch. Here's one problem that you will run into with the game. These residents are complaining that the rent is way too high. Their household wealth is wretched, which is the absolute lowest it can possibly be. I dig. Um, and they can't afford where they're living. And what the game doesn't do is tell them to move. It doesn't seem to say, hey, if you can't afford to live here, don't live here anymore. It doesn't allow them to move out of the city. Once they're there until they leave town entirely. They're still super happy where they are, but because they're wretched and because they're paying too high rent, they can't level up the building further. Depending on how widespread this issue is, it could be good, it could be bad. What can you do to fix it? You can make sure that there are better jobs available. You can make sure that there are welfare offices available and things of that nature. Do we have a welfare office over here? The answer is yes, we do. Literally right over here. They could be coming over here and working in it, and they're not. Why? I don't know. It doesn't look like they're over full. They're just not doing anything there. So, what can you do? You can try bulldozing it to reset it. You can wait for them to age out, which is what I'm going to do. And you can ignore it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ignore this right now. It's not epidemic in the city. These were some of the first buildings we built. It's one of our first neighborhoods. And when they moved in, there was no real jobs, no work, no anything available. So that just sort of slowed them down. I will take a quick look over here and see how all of these have come in. Coming in quite nicely, honestly. They're still only level 1, level 2s, nothing really past that. These will increase with time. We're doing great, though, on our city level. There's a maximum level of 20 for your city. Now, you can still develop once you hit that point, but by the time you hit level 20, you've unlocked everything. We've got plenty of development points to the extent that we've not even used everything that we have bought so far. So, as I said, what's next? What's next? We'll just be filling in these blocks, and that's what we're going to do for a little bit. I'm going to run pedestrian pathways, and we'll go ahead and use our let me think for a second. Quick second. I think since we're just going through one real block right here, we'll just use our pedestrian streets. Now, I don't want people cutting up right there. So I want to use a, in fact, I think just the easiest way we can do this, we're going to decrease. Okay, those are for vehicles, not for pedestrians. All right, we decreased our elevation steps. We're going to go up to, see if 6.5 is enough to cross that. It is not. 7.5 is. Keep that to the bare minimum that we need. Drop it down. Oh, we didn't drop it all the way to the ground. My bad. I do want to drop it like it's hot, all the way to the ground over here. Actually, no, you know what? I don't. I think I like the way this being elevated looks. It's not going to interfere with anything. Because I'm not going to try to get in extra buildings right back through here. Okay, now we do have to fix our direction pathfinding. Why is it doing that? Why are you doing that? All right. Okay. And then again, when we're using these one-way streets, that is not for our pedestrians. Our pedestrians are going to walk on it no matter what. That's more for our service vehicles. You know, if we have a commercial van that has to come up to one of these buildings, or police, fire, whatever. Okay, so we've added that additional pedestrian path all the way back through there. Let's take a look. What is right over here? So we've got a hospital, parking lots, parking lots, parking lots, parking lots, all noisy things, crematorium, more noisy things. So not an ideal spot right there for more high density residential. However, plenty of spot for high density office. This is right off of a major corner. Put in some high density commercial. Do the same right here, right here, and pretty much that whole block right there. Same with that. Now, what do you expect to see next to a hospital? Doctor's offices. Lots of doctor's offices. And we'll be filling that in. Now, these won't be doctor's offices because I don't think the game would allows for such shenanigans, but it's going to be small scale office buildings that are going to blend in pretty well with that hospital setup right there. Okay, and then we're going to move back to our high density housing because I do want to fill that in down here and over here. North American mixed use, I think, will fit in pretty good. Okay, now we just wait for all that to develop. That is going to leave a pretty big square spot right there in the middle. Not, and I don't like that. Let's go ahead and add in. We're going to interrupt this build in progress. Okay. We've added this pedestrian street right here, and down this way we can safely add some mixed density housing. High density office, and then splitting the middle. Let's see, the multi-purpose park is too big. That goes the wrong way. Large plaza, way too big. Looking for something that is really just going to sort of fit right over here that's going to tie this all together. Round park on that side, I guess, and there, round park and escape park right there in the middle. Oh, and hey, look, there's just enough non-development right here that we can run a standard pedestrian path all the way down, all the way over. Looks like the game will let us one run right there as well. Oh, I didn't drag that one leg over far enough. Gonna cut off everything right there because the snapping's not letting me keep that even. A little bit of manual work over here. Ew, that just threw all that off. Okay, we're not going to be able to fit that in right there. We tried. Oh, I didn't see that there was a building being developed on that square. That was my bad. Okay, then right here, I think this is a good spot for a tiny city park. Yeah, that works pretty good. Okay, that takes care of this block development, except for that corner. That's going to be high density office, and we have no high density office demand. But hey, now we've got another good solid fill up right over here. This is the Japanese style police headquarters. I feel like office buildings would be good around it, even though there's no office demand right now. Office and high density commercial right there should be good. Let's take a look and see why we don't have office demand. What's missing? Well, it doesn't say. It just says we have high skill labor availability, just don't have any demand for it. Could be an education issue. I wouldn't put that past the game. Let's look at that square right there. What would be good here? I hate to say it, but probably a parking structure. A decent sized one. Or two. This will cause an ugly traffic pattern, as it always does. But that's not something we can really do anything about. Sort of have to live with it as it develops. Let's see if we can't fit a small one-way alley right through there. Now that's a pedestrian, so let's see if we can fit in a small pedestrian alley right there. Yeah, we can. We did. We're good. We'll slip in a small, a few light commercial. I would assume these would be something like bodegas or vape shops or, something along those lines. Okay, we'll go ahead and upgrade those parking structures to the maximum they can take. It'll be kind of well hidden in here. Hey, Farrell, welcome to the channel. How you doing today? Okay, so, oh, hey, Jeff, sup, man? It's good to see you. I haven't talked to you in what feels like forever. So, um, just so you guys know, I do a lot of conventions in the Mid Ohio Valley area. I sell books. I do cosplay for charity purposes. Jeff has covered me with Critically Absurd TV a few different times. He's a great friend of mine. So, everybody give a big welcome to Feral Woodchuck, also known as Jeff. Hey, Jeff. As a quick reminder, everybody, while I am streaming live right now, in a couple of weeks, this will make it up to my YouTube channel. So, if you see me talking to random people, like there's a bunch of people in the room with me, take a look at the chat screen that I've got overlaid on the video, and that's where all this is coming from. Oh, what's burning? Random tree. Somebody set a random tree on fire. Okay. Yeah. But the thing about the convention season is where I live is away from almost everybody I know in real life. And so I only get to see people during con season. End of November until the beginning of March is my dead time, where I don't have conventions. I don't go out and interact with people. So it's like, well, I haven't seen you since last year. And it's literally because I haven't seen them since last year. It kind of sucks. Okay. All that said, though, I don't fault anybody for not coming to my town to visit. It's like, hey, listen, I live here. I chew the air too. Hang on just a second, guys. I'm going to have to. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Can't help it. As I was saying, I chew the air here. All right. We've zoned all this new residential. We've zoned all this new office. And I know that we are going to be back in the middle of our elementary school crisis. So let's take a look. My default is City Elementary School because we can pack 2,000 kids in these things. But just for the sake of variety, we'll take a look. We've used the Eastern European Elementary School. I hate to say it, but the architectural structure of this is going to mesh up really well with the structure of this building. You wouldn't think it would, but I can guarantee you it will. And right here, you do see where I was talking about we're going to have traffic jams and stuff as these traffic parks fill up. Can't do a whole lot about it. It's what it is. So we'll slip this. I did not hear that you barely avoided death last year. That, I mean, I sort of pulled the same stunt back in December of last year myself, but no, I hadn't seen. I didn't think I'd seen you around recently. I just thought you were done with the scene because it's the con scene. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'm done with the con scene. Let's be honest. Hey, milestone 15 unlocked. We are now in Metropolis. We've gained a whole bunch more of development points, a bunch more tiles unlocked, and a decent chunk of cash. So, remember when we were really excited to get those decent chunks of cash and we're not so much right now? Well, that's the game. We've got so many development points unlocked, though, so let's go take advantage of those in just a moment. We're going to fill in all this. Oh, right. No, I remember that. Yeah, I am glad you pulled out through okay. So, are you, like I hate to phrase it this way, but like, are you going to be back okay? Are you good for this year? Are you hanging in? Hmm. I'm going to sort of split the middle right here. This isn't going to be perfectly angled. What is this angle? 131 off of that. Like, I do want this walking path to go right behind the school, but that sort of screws up everything. I still put 131 right here. It's doable. What if we change it to just a wide walking path, though? Not the same direction. I think that's fine. Let's, however, come up and get rid of a couple of these unnecessary crosswalks. Get rid of one there, get rid of one there, get rid of one there. I think that's good. Okay, and did we set our operating district? Yes, we did, and it's already almost back to full most. New job, back on your feet, back getting healthy again. Dude, that is wonderful. I cannot wait to see you. First con that I'll be at this year, the official first con, will be HerdCon. I'll be representing Creative Cosplay the Mid-Ohio Valley. For those of you who don't know, who are finding this video or finding whatever, Creative Cosplay the Mid-Ohio Valley, let me drop a link. And you can find us over on Facebook. We are a cosplay-based charity organization. We raise funds to support the food pantries in and around Wood County, West Virginia, specifically Parkersburg, West Virginia. We dress up in a variety of characters. We perform at parades, social events, festivals, conventions, up and down everywhere from Marietta, Ohio, Morgantown, West Virginia, Charleston, Huntington, Rio Grande, Ohio. We've got a fairly wide service area. Um, and what we do is we take any money we raise at those events and we turn around and we use it to buy food for our partner pantries that we have in the area. Last year we donated, I think, around $6,000 year round. So we're not a huge organization. We don't do a ton of stuff, but we do our best to really do what we can to make a difference for our local community. It's something that we love doing, and so we do it. And that's one of the reasons I'm running this Twitch channel. Once you hit affiliate with Twitch, 50 followers, you can run charity streams on the platform. And that's something that we want to do. We want to be able to not just raise funds in person, but raise funds online. Uh, no offense to our lovely community up here, but if I can raise money by playing Cities Skylines and not having to put on pants, hey, guess what I want to do? I mean, put on pants while I'm streaming, especially if the webcam's on, but you know what I mean. Okay, and yeah, more of this traffic headache. And some of this traffic headache is because we've got so many people moving in down here, and it looks like the bulk of them are... Where are they coming from, I wonder? Let's take a look at our traffic. And so some of them are coming off of the highway. It looks like they're coming from the highway and down and looping up, as opposed to the highway and then coming up there. I don't know what to tell you. Traffic is traffic. And this ultimately is a traffic simulator. There's no two ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, we can't expand this school any, unfortunately. There is a lot of walking traffic to the school, though, so this is good. This is something we want to see. I mean, yeah, look, and for the record, there is a big difference between suiting up, putting on my costume, putting on my proton pack, and all the Ghostbuster accessories that I roll with, and then having to gather all of my stuff and shove it in my SUV, and then drive 2 hours to an event. Again, all with pants on. Versus just sitting here playing Skylines 2 or Fallout 76 or Diablo 4 was on sale this week. And I looked at the economy and I looked at my bank account and said, wow, I can't afford this. And then I bought it. So I'll be starting to stream Diablo 4 maybe as early as tomorrow. Um, Diablo 2 and 3 were big influences on the books that I write, the fantasy horror novels that I do. Link to that right here. Fantasy horror. Novels by Joshua E.B. Smith. You can find that. How much extra for the stream where you can see me streaming without pants? Listen, I have the body for radio, and I think that's all I have to say. uh, by definition of playing Diablo 4, I mean, I have downloaded it and it is in my Steam library. Have I turned it on yet? No. I was doing gig work yesterday and I didn't touch it. This is my first time doing a stream in about a week. I've been busy working on my next novel and doing a lot of home chores and a bunch of other stuff, and I just haven't had time. I've also picked up a sinus infection and made my mouth blister, and I was like, oh, talking is terrible, so let's not. But I am going to start playing it maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Today is Royal Rumble. So if you're watching the stream, today is February the 1st. It's Royal Rumble weekend. You may have heard me mention that I'm logging off to watch Monday Night Raw, whatever. Well, guess what? Rumble time. Okay. Did we do enough for our school problems? Good Lord, we're 10,000 behind on our education system, despite having schools everywhere. All right. City school over here. Selecting the operating district. Look, I'm just picking a good spot for it. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes open for him. Another friend of ours is going to be actually at the Royal Rumble with his girlfriend, a couple of lovely people, and I'm going to be scanning the crowd for him. Okay, yeah, I'll absolutely hit you up for that. Let me whisper you my screen name or send it to you over Messenger. A little bit, not my screen name, my Steam name. Yeah, my hot and steamy Steam name. So that, and I'll do that. And I think I have an idea how the gameplay is. I'm not happy that it is multiplayer only, though. Like, I didn't want to have like a new MMO game to play, but it looks. If I understand the way that Diablo 4 is set up, and maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, that it looks like it's massively multiplayer only. Nothing against MMORPGs. I've played them most of my life. Um, just my adult life. Let me rephrase that. I'm an 8-bit boy. Okay. Well, we've given plenty of ample time over here. It bugs me that some of these schools don't have parks or playgrounds. I think it sucks. So, like even the city schools have a playground that you can install right next to them. So let's look over here. Let's go to our large playground, and we're gonna just stick it right over here, right opposite. Actually, these are small. We're gonna stick 3 of them right in there. Of course, they don't line up. Why? Why? Good. You know, swear these devs. Okay. And this is just one of those weird node issues right there. I'll stretch it out with a walking path. Grr. Arg. Just grr. Arg. Yeah, like, do me a solid. Send me a message over one of our message platforms. And let me know your Steam handle, and I'll add you on my Steam friend list. I haven't done that yet. Okay, so what can fit in? Looks like that's not being zoned there for some strange reason. It doesn't look like there's a connection. I think we can fit in a small city park right there. Can we? Can, not if we snap, but we can if we don't. And just remember, you do have to make sure that the entrance to buildings, if you take off road snapping, is aligned with the road. There we go. Done. And we haven't done anything like this for a while. Let's go over here into our detailed things and look for something that would fit in really well right behind that. And I'm going to say a small stage for performances will look really cool right beside this elementary school. Give the kids something to do. And then we're going to zone in really, really close. Select our line tool, shrink it to the absolute bare minimum with a garden bench. Turn these around the right way. There we go, a trio of garden benches right there so people can watch whatever's going on at the stage. And then we'll come over and we're going to put a couple of big trees right. Delete a tree to place a tree. What do you say? Oh, go off the line tool. There we go. Park with a little stage thingy right there next to a school. Okay, you're not on Steam, it's on Xbox. Okay. But it is cross-platform. Okay. All right, that works. I've never played them. I have wanted to. Um, Here's my thing, though. I don't have a PS5. I've got a PS4. I don't like to play platformers on my PC, but at the same time, I also get offended the fact that I have to pay for a subscription to PlayStation to play multiplayer games on my PlayStation. So I don't, because I have been a computer gamer all my life and I'm already paying a subscription fee to play multiplayer games. And that fee is called my cable internet bill. And so that just, it bothers me. It bothers me. Okay, yeah, that school's already filled up and we're still got an eligibility of 8,000 a gap. I mean, it does take a village, but at the same time, it's starting to feel like it takes the GDP of a small country to run the education system in this game. I don't know if that's a me misunderstanding of how education systems work in a large city. I don't live in a large city. I know that even in the small city that I live in, with about 50,000 people, we do have like 7 or 8 elementary schools. So maybe you do have an elementary school every other block in New York City. I don't know. And that is the real downside. Like, I know I can plug in a controller, like an Xbox or PlayStation controller, on my computer and play games on it. But I was raised with the NES. When I think of a platformer, when I think of a religious platformers or a racing game or something like that, I'm thinking, I want to do this on my TV, on my couch. I want to do this here. I want to play God of War on a screen where I can see absolutely everything. I think if I tried playing Cities Skylines 2 on my big screen TV, I would go blind in like 5 minutes. I just don't think I could do it. Most of the time, I'm sitting over here hunched in, absolutely giving myself spinal issues playing games. I just, and I can't stand playing shooters anymore on a console. I need my mouse. And so it's just this weird catch-22 kind of thing where I'm a weird person and I recognize that. Okay, let's get back over here. What building is this? This is our modernist post office. Okay, So that's a noise generator. Only low, but still, that's going to be enough to turn people off. They're not going to want to live right there. So this is going to be another spot for commercial all the way around. Right there, though, we can... Oh, that's a parking garage. We're not going to want to put residential right. Kind of do, kind of don't. We'll put mixed use residential right there. They're going to be a little perturbed about it, but they'll deal. Then, okay, we're seeing all these walking lines. Let's get rid of that. Huh. You know, that's going to be something I'm going to look up. You know, how many public schools are in New York? What's the average school district? I mean, obviously, we don't have a New York-sized city here. We've got 107,000. And I recognize that that number is way wrong because if you told me that there was only 107,000 people living in a city of this size with this many highway interchanges with 3 different rail stations so far and a harbor in progress, I would tell you you're insane because my city, which has exactly 0 skyscrapers, and I think the tallest building for residential purposes is like 8 stories, packs in 70,000 people. So don't. Ooh, I think some stuff went down up here. What happened? Yeah, car wreck. A couple delivery vans. It looks like a taxi involved. They're on fire. They're burning. Fire engines and stuff all trying to respond. And just like the real world, they can't because of traffic. So we'll have to see how that develops for them later. Sorry about your car. Okay. Yeah. In my city, people don't move over for those buildings either. Okay. All right. Well, guys, I'm actually going to have to hop off of here in a few more moments. I got a notification that I've had a delivery of books that I actually need to go get off my porch. And I just don't want to leave you guys AFK. And we have been streaming now, I think, for about 3 solid hours. So let's finish up this block over here. And I think this is going to be another great spot for another walking path. So let's pick and choose our zoning a little bit. We're going to go for medium density residential right through here, close to all this. As we're moving, we're still in city center area, but we're right behind a school. Police, I think medium density is going to sort of be a good fit for right here. We're going to fill in this block. I'm going to fill in that block. We're leaving. Oh, hey, look at this. New signature building available. Cool. Going to leave this open to run a pedestrian path through it. I'll fill in that. I'll fill in this over here for parks. We're gotta click on the right one for parks. I'm looking for my outdoor gym. Putting snapping back on for our park development. Yeah, hey, it was great talking to you too. I'm sorry for leaving so soon. It's just I really have been streaming, I think, for 3 hours, and my mouth is hurting from talking so much. And I gotta pick up my next order of Necromancer's Bullet, the urban fantasy novel. Oh, you're kidding me! No, no, no. Well, dropping that destroyed the zoning right there. Why? Why would you do that? Ugh. Alright. Rezoning. Rezoning all of that. That's not going to make too much of a difference, I don't think. That's so annoying when that does that. Okay. Well, can't do anything about it. It's the game being the game. Yeah. Well, here, don't leave just yet, because I'm about to do a city recap of everything we've gotten done so far. Oh, helps if you connect the nodes. We did not. Okay, gonna get rid of that crosswalk right there because there's a crosswalk right up there as well. Okay, and down through here, we're just gonna go ahead and fill it in with more medium density residential. Feel like that's more prime business estate right there. Corner store. And then as we approach this major highway intersection, we're going to put in some high density office. Since we briefly had a bit of office demand. Now, while I can lay down buildings on this, because this is just straight intersection area, I don't want to. I don't want to do anything that's going to slow down traffic as they're getting up through this area. I really don't. I do not want to add to it. I don't want to slow it down. I don't want to modify it. We'll come back through and zone it with non-functional props, just our decorations, just to kind of fill that in. Okay, we're still having this traffic congestion up here as people are getting in. The only viable solution is to change this from just a straight 4-lane road to maybe, if we upgrade it entirely, we will be deleting buildings coming down through here. That is an option, just to allow for pass-through. Or we could do an asymmetrical road, or we could even make this a one-way road right through here to encourage traffic. It's like, here, look, you're either going to a parking garage or you're not. If we do make it a one-way road, though, say we just go all the way down here and have this be 1-lane road from heading south, then our northbound traffic it's going to get weird. It's going to get weird in a hurry. I'm not sure what I'll do with this, because whatever I do is going to have some unintended side effects. So let's just sort of leave it as it is for right now, and with the understanding that this is going to cause traffic congestion. We're not really at a point where we can turn this into a roundabout to encourage people to go through. We're just sort of at the mercy of our stoplight system right now, which is fine. We should be. One thing that I think we can do is we do have this unnecessary crosswalk right here that may be interfering with our traffic some. And that did. Just getting rid of that crosswalk got rid of part of that. We do have a stoplight there because of Pleasant Street moving. We'll convert that to a stop sign. Not as necessary. Okay. Why vehicles are stopping, turning around, and just driving off there, I don't have any clue. Okay. It's the game being the game. All right. Let me save, and then it's time for a city recap. Because the stream has been going on so long, we have done so very much. I'm quite proud of ourselves for everything we have accomplished so far today, because we have grown our city significantly. We've almost doubled our city size. When we started, we were at 60,000 people. We're now at clocking in 111,000, and we're gaining about 1,100 people an hour right now. People moving in, filling up these new mid and high density residential buildings. We also went from making $130,000 an hour to $300,000 an hour. We are in print money stage. There is nothing that I want to build right now that I can't build because of a lack of money. And from this point, it's only going to go up. Even as we invest in some new city services buildings, this money is enough to get us through whatever we need to do. We have encountered some bugs. We've encountered some weird issues with waiting for a hearse, where our death care system is just being overwhelmed by brand new buildings, and it shouldn't be. It looks like we could get away with adding a new crematorium down here somewhere, and we'll take a look at that next episode. All right, so what have we done? Well, we started with just this area over here filled in, so we've gone ahead and filled in several city blocks with a mix of commercial, office, residential, mostly high residential, and a little bit of medium and mixed uh, residential use buildings. We went overboard with adding new schools, with a school here, a brand new modern high school over here. We added a community city park. We started a small side grid over here of roadway network. We At the very beginning, though, we did our big investment of adding our tram lines going to the northeastern part of the city. We didn't add any to the southern part. We're going to get on that either next episode or episode next. We've just about maxed these out, though. We've got, um, 28 of 30 available trams coming from these two tram supply depots, both of which can handle 15. We are likely now getting ready to push on our garbage processing status. It's getting a little lower than I want to see it, so we'll have to look into additional options for trash shortly. We have really established a corridor here, though, of different side of the tracks. And this is something that we're going to have to take a look at and determine what's going to look really good, what's going to be functional down this highway system. Is this going to be something where we're going to want to invest in an additional industrial park that sort of splits the difference? Are we going to want to go for offices? What are we going to want to use on this highway sub network over here? But our tram line was the big success of the day because we ran it from here all the way up into here, all the way up in here. We've got tram connections at our college, at our university, at our high school, at several of our train nodes and bus station nodes. Then we added an additional bus route that covers through Kings Field and services this area up here. We also went ahead and added in this wonderful little observation style building right here that's going to give our residents a great view, and our eventual tourists, a great view of the river network coming all the way down through here, plus a way to oversee a little bit of our farms and kind of a way to view our sports field network over there next to our college. Lastly, but not at all unimportant, as I said, we did level up to level 15 and unlocked a whole bunch of progression nodes, and we even picked up a few new buildings, including the Rubik Apartments, which I think is something we can go ahead and get away with adding right now because this will increase our well-being, and this has got a decent increase level to it. Adds a +8 to well-being within 2 kilometers. And now, how many units is 2 kilometers, you may ask? Let's find out. Just take a random street. And so that's 2,000 meters. So that surely cannot be right. Yeah, that's 1 kilometer right there. So the Rebecca Apartments, when I place them, are going to service the whole area over here. And I think that's incredibly awesome. Plus, it's going to allow for some additional families to move in, and it's not going to cost us a single penny. So let's look. We've got our city building. There's our city building, right? City Hall, Citizen Service Center, Community Park, school, major highway interchange right over here. Really, there's 2 good spots for this. One, I think, while it will cause an increase in traffic, if we can fit it, it would fit right there, but it's not going to fit. Conversely, we could stick it right over here. Right. Oh, that's a city school. That's not our apartments. Helps if I get the right building selected. Okay, still, unfortunately, it would still wipe out those 2 high rises. I don't want to do that. Right here, anywhere right over here would be a good spot. I don't want to stick it on this road because of the train tracks. Create too much noise for our potential new residents. Though, I have to admit, with the way this building is built, look at that. It is going to fit perfectly right beside that school. So, we're going to add a pathway, and that's going to be pretty much what's going to finish us off for the day. Okay, 1 basic walking path. Not going to worry about zoning. Go over here. Here we go. This building can handle 114 households, and automatically, as soon as I drop it down, 342 people are like, here. Okay. Unfortunately, their average wealth is poor. We'll hopefully see that increase as things go on. Now, because that can handle so many people, I'm going to preemptively Come over here to our medium roads, 4-lane, and we're just going to stretch out that particular road enough. And I think with the fact that it's splitting between, a one-way lane right there and everything else, I think that's fine. I'm not really worried about the fact that it shrinks to one lane. I think that gives us a good split. One way goes south, one way goes north. We're good. Okay. In terms of parking, though, I do hate adding more parking. Believe me, I do. Parking is an unfortunate necessity in cities. We'll squeak this over here off to the side, I think. Use another one of those. Go ahead and upgrade it. Oop, that's moving, not upgrading. Okay. And we'll go to vegetation. I'm going to add, because I want people to park there and not on the city streets. Well, I think that's fair. Okay. Looks like we need a park right here. At least it looks that way to me. Kind of feel like a skate park next to a parking garage wouldn't be too off kilter. Okay. Now, this will, however, increase traffic right off of this major highway intersection, but I think that should be okay. Especially because it's going to be running right through our main city center. Okay, so we've got that. That's done. We are looking good so far. I do believe, did we upgrade this school? Yes, we did. Okay. All right. Look at all those Hearst notifications. I hope this bug gets fixed soon. I genuinely do. That's just terrible. Plus, I don't have a good spot for crematorium down here. We're going to need to put one in here, but I don't have a good spot for it. So we've already got a crematorium right here, but it's filled up and it's processing significantly more bodies a month than it should be. And this for us is not okay. All right, I do need to go, but that is bothering me. I don't know. I'm going to say, while it will be kind of noisy down here over in this general direction, is going to be a good spot for it. But we are going to want to put as many garages as we can fit in for this particular installation. So 1, 2, 3. Come on. Can I move that now that I've set it the direction I want? No, of course not. Come on, don't do this to me. Let me put it there. Fine. We will put it directly behind the crematorium. And that one needs to be moved too. And then just match up. Oh, would you please quit that? Really? You're going to be that? Okay, never mind. Never mind. You get 5. Okay, so that's the garages, but we do need to add in that additional incinerator. You know, maybe we can sort of make this a complex down here with a second crematorium right beside it. Maybe that'll... Okay. I feel like we're going to need a park, a memorial garden, something right over here. Maybe, well, I seem to be making a death care like major thing. How about I slip in a church? Literally right behind it. We'll go ahead and expand that. We've got enough money that it's a non-issue. And then we'll fix pedestrian walking path. That's not at an even angle. Oh, why didn't it? Come on. Connect the rest of the way, please. Thank you. Okay, we've done all that. We've done all that. We've done all that. Let's add a small plaza on both sides, or at least on one side, so people can, for real, we're off by a square. Okay, then looks like we just needed a few trees. Let's go for the tallest trees we've got. I think our pine, spruce, apple. Okay, looks like alders. Alders, yes, but they won't fit. Birch it is. Line, just to keep it even. And then go for a larger park over here on this side, because nobody's going to want to live right next to this. I mean, not to put a damper on it, but the smell alone, I'm sure, would be a turnoff. Now we'll get away with some medium density housing. And for this, though, we're going to go with the Denmark style medium density housing, because it'll, like, I think when you guys see how it zones in, it'll look a little bit better. And we'll do the same thing with the, and we don't have a Denmark style commercial. We'll do Eastern European, just to fill in those little zone spots right there. Okay. Same thing with right there. Okay. So we've got a nice little neighborhood development right over here. I'll figure out something to put right beside there, but that will hopefully do something about our mass demand for death care. I'm hoping. I don't know if it will, but I'm hoping. Let me make sure we set our operating districts for all of it to focus on strawberry dreams. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in with me today for Dead Men Streaming. And this was a super long stream for us today. This video will be uploaded to YouTube in the next couple of weeks. YouTubers, if you're watching it now, hop over here to my Twitch channel. And let's start with some links in chat. Why don't we? So twitch.tv/Joshua_Karen_Smith for Twitch. Then, for you Twitchers, if you're watching it this way and you stuck through the whole video, good for you. Here's my YouTube, and YouTube channel is here. If you are interested in the fantasy horror novels that I write and you would like to take a look at the city that this city is named after, hop over to sagadmw.com. You can take a look at all of my books, whether they're fantasy horror or urban fantasy, or some of my blog posts about the writing industry and things in between. There you go. There are my links. Follow me, give me some love, and I will talk to you guys soon. Future streams are going to be some Fallout 76 stuff, some more Cities Skylines 2, and very soon, Diablo 4. Once again, my name is Josh. I do greatly appreciate all of the attention you give me today. You could do 1,000 other things on a Saturday afternoon or morning, and you chose to pop over here and watch it with me. Or if today's not Saturday, hey, listen, I know you've got other things you can do this week, whatever day you're watching. And once again, you did choose to stick with me. I hope you learned something, or at the very least, I hope what I was doing was able to help you relax a little bit in this crazy world we live in. Remember, you made it through the day, or at least you made it to today, and that is a victory in and of itself. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you soon.